If you get off on the wrong foot with a physician or any clinical provider, you're in trouble and you're in recovery mode. So the first thing I've learned is that a lot of physicians in particular associate quality improvement with quality assurance. And quality assurance is generally felt to be more punitive, judgmental, you're being compared to somebody else. And obviously that's not in the spirit of quality improvement. It's hard because so much of what we see today, in fact, is quality assurance. Pay for performance is a good example where physicians are, in fact, being profiled compared to others, compared against the standard, and that can be really chilling. So first rule is emphasize the improvement and try to stay away from the realities of quality assurance, which we know will continue to be an issue. The second thing to avoid is language that implies that what we're teaching you now about quality improvement comes from Japan, it comes from Toyota. It has this mystical quality of coming from the East and somehow being profound. Really, quality improvement is pretty simple. And while we've learned a lot from Toyota and from lean methods and Toyota production system, we don't have to talk that way to engage clinicians. And in fact, it makes it seem, at least to a lot of people, to be an off-putting thing that doesn't relate to their work. So that's the second point. The third is that in quality improvement, we often have an agenda that may have to do with non-clinical care issues. For example, waiting times in the office, or what a patient has filled out on their satisfaction survey. And, you know, I'm a clinical person and I care that patients are waiting in my office too long, or that they may have had some dissatisfaction with the service. But basically, what I wake up in the morning worrying about is the clinical care I'm going to provide to the patient. So for example, take a surgeon who does prostate surgery, and he's going to do surgery to extirpate cancer by removing the prostate gland. So yeah, he cares about the waiting time and the service and all that, but basically he wants to know at the end of the day, have I successfully removed the cancer? Is the patient cancer free? Can the patient resume normal sexual activity, or are they going to be impotent after the surgery? Are they going to be incontinent of urine, or are they going to be able to hold their urine? These are the profound clinical issues. And if you can't relate your quality improvement work to what matters to the clinician and ultimately matters to the patient, then you lose them. So that's the third point. The fourth point is that we often emphasize the methods of quality improvement in a way that can seem not so relevant to the clinician. So for example, we often ask clinical staff to do a process flow diagram. And that's really important. You have to understand the process of care, the system of care, to really improve it. But you can't ask a surgeon to come to a meeting at 10 a.m., then sit for 2 hours to do a process flow diagram. That just isn't going to work. And what I would do would be to sketch out kind of a template for what I thought and the clinical staff I could meet with thought was the way the process works. Then I get up at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. just like the surgeon, and I go to the operating room in the pre-op area where he's having a cup of coffee and a cold, stale bagel, and I say, here's what we got here, what do you think? And that way I show respect for his or her clinical work, and they understand that I'm sensitive to their workload and their schedule. So that's the fourth point. The fifth point is that we need to be upfront about the fiscal agenda. You know, there's all this talk about value, and value is important. You know, it's the quality cost equation. But sometimes when we talk about quality improvement, we obfuscate the fiscal thing, that we're actually trying to be sensitive to cost. We're trying, and sometimes just to reduce costs, to save money. Just be open about it. You know, say, look, we understand that this quality improvement work is going to take time, and that we're focused on improving the care for the patient, but also we are, in fact, in a real-world economy here where we have to be conscious of the cost of the care we provide. That's far better than saying what I heard many, many times from quality improvement leaders: quality improvement is free. It's not free. I mean, in the end, we may save money by doing quality improvement. That's part of the process. But to the person doing the quality improvement itself, it takes time, and there's real cost in terms of opportunity cost and what else they won't be able to do that day. So that's very important. The next point is that clinicians at least most of the people I know, are interested in data. And we don't give them, in most institutions and most clinics, the data they need in real time that's relevant to the improvement they're trying to do. Boy, that's really, that's a downer. I mean, I want to see the data, and I want to see the data that you think is important, oh, quality improvement guru. I want to see the data that's important in my work. If I'm going to improve, give me the data. Don't tell me that the computer system can't handle it. So being sensitive to what the clinician needs in the way of data and giving it to them without complaint and excuse is really important. And finally, a lot of physicians, of course, are working in academic environments. And to them, quality improvement work may not be valued to the same extent as it would be to do laboratory research or health services research. Well, I think you have to lay out the academic case for doing quality improvement. We're fortunate that we live in a time where if you do quality improvement well, you can in fact get credit for it in an academic promotional pathway. I'm a living example of that. I think there is a pathway forward. It takes time. You have to work in an interprofessional way. But if you do it well, you'll get credit. And these days it doesn't have to be in the New England Journal. It can be in a quality journal, or it can be posted on the web, or it can be a clinical practice guideline that everybody's using. So there are a lot of ways to do this.